January 27th, 2021. It is currently 6 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour on my clock, your clock, and everyone who happens to own a clock. And if you don't own a clock, then you've noticed the time on your phone, or perhaps your mobile device, or perhaps a tablet that you may or may not be watching this broadcast on. I am James, you are you. We are here for the mid-week edition of what? Of course, it is At Home with James. I'm incredibly excited about tonight's show, but I do need to be honest and give you some disappointing news right off the hop. I previously announced that friend of the show, Raquel Belmonte, would be here tonight. Unfortunately for me, she cannot be here. Fortunately for Raquel, she's got a self-tape that will, fingers crossed, turn into a fruitful and profitable amount of work for Raquel. So best wishes, thoughts, and prayers. Now, most people, they reserve thoughts and prayers for when bad things happen. I maintain that we should use them for good things as well. Now that we've gotten that news out of the way, let's really break down what's going to happen on tonight's show. One of the all-time greatest, supportive, friendly, kind, Conor Rose will be here. Now, if you weren't here last week, we are concerned that Conor may have come into contact with someone who may have given him COVID-19. So fingers crossed for Conor as well that he has not contracted this very, very twisted virus. We're going to check in with Conor in just a little bit. But before we do that, another great guest is going to be here tonight. His name is Anthony Assaf. One of my favorite people to talk to on this show. Now, usually when Anthony comes on, we talk about food or deals or this or that. Tonight, we're going to do things just a little different. Because in addition to Anthony Assaf being here, well, Andy Assaf is also going to be here. Two men whose names begin with A, whose family names not only begin with A as well, but also conclude with SSAF. Two men with the same last name. Now, this has never happened on this show before. This is what I would like to call a happening. Now, in addition to the fact that they have the same last name, we're going to talk to both of them about what it's like to have run in the same community, the same pack, a similar social circle, while having the same last name. Certainly couldn't have been easy for these fine young gentlemen. But moreover, tonight, we're going to determine who the greatest Assaf really is. Because you can't just have both of these guys walking around with the same last name. Certainly, one is superior in one way, or maybe a multitude of ways, over the other. So tonight, we determine who is the ultimate Assaf. Now, if you were locked and loaded on the Instagram account for the show, at Home with James Show, you noticed that I wanted to share something in regards to the 200th episode. Now then, it's obviously not tonight. This past Monday, I announced that in 1 week from this past Monday, it would be the 200th episode. Now, let's get one thing out of the way. If you don't know, I'm not the greatest at math. Also not the greatest, apparently, with counting, or for that matter, keeping track of what number of show I am on. Yesterday, when I was prepared to announce that this Monday, it's the 200th episode of At Home with James, I thought to myself, you might want to look into this and just really, for 100% safety purposes, confirm that this upcoming Monday is in fact the 200th episode. After doing so, I not only confirmed that this Monday is not the 200th episode, but it is in fact in a week from tonight. That's right. Sometimes your old pal, James, Big J, Lil Cutie, Handsome Jim, whatever you want to call me. Sometimes I pull my very own blooper, blunder, and boner. But then I got to thinking, you know what? What can we do to not only rectify this embarrassing and shameful error, but make it even bigger? Because when I thought the show was going to be episode 200 on Monday, it would have been one night. Well, you know what? I'm going to make up for my error. And next week is going to be an entire week of celebratory episodes. We get ready on Monday with episode 199, where we exit the hundreds. On Wednesday, we burst into the 200th episode. And on Friday, we celebrate being inside the 200s. Now, as I say that, I'm not really pleased with the way that I constructed that sentence, saying how we're going to be pleased to be inside. But why not just lean into it, right? On Monday, we start to enter. We don't go all the way, right? We tease it a little bit. And then on Wednesday, we enter a little bit. We go in. And then on Friday, we're fully in. We have entered. We have connected. We are submerged in the 200s. What an intro this has truly become on episode. What would this be? If Wednesday is 200, I mean, we got 199. This is what, 197? Yes, I think I've correctly done the counting and the math. If I haven't, in the chat as I'm engaging now, let me know. Also, quote, you're good looking. You don't have to be smart, James. Hey, I agree. People like me who walk up and down the street, being an entity on this planet that we call Earth, when you're handsome like this, you don't have to worry about being good at things. You just happen to be good looking. That is, look, I've had enough of myself. Let's begin tonight's show. More information on the festivities a little bit later on. I think I adequately vamped this upcoming segment, so let's not waste any more time. I would like for us to welcome two men with the last name. One of them is Anthony. The other is Andy. They are the Assafs. Let's get them in here right now.
Hello, James.
Folks, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So, Andy, in addition to teching tonight's episode, you're on a heck of a run. You're going to be in a segment tonight. Anthony, you've shown up with a microphone, which already puts you ahead of Andy as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, sometimes you just have to bust out the big guns, and I think that that's what I did tonight.
Yeah, and I really like the way that you sound. You're smooth. The audio is great. Andy, can I just hear you for a second?
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm sorry. I'm just pulling up something just in preparation for what we're about to experience, I imagine.
Yeah.
You're about to pit us against each other, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, this is true. This is true. I'm glad to know that you were listening to my intro as you were teching this show. Andy, your audio's good. Anthony's is just a little bit better.
Hell yeah.
Well, you know, I am the tech of this show. I should have better audio, so I think entering with a high expectation of audio and then delivering a mediocre audio is probably, in your mind, creating a larger gap of audio fidelity.
Let's be honest. I never did the words mediocre once utter from my lips. But look, let's just start things on a nice, relaxed note. Let's begin. Anthony, how are you?
I'm good. I just have two things to say before we start. One, I just want to have assurance that Andy is not going to mute me because he is jealous of the smoothness of my audio.
Okay, I'm
make it a fair fight, a fair Assaf Off.
Yeah.
I'm getting in the chat that accusations that I'm actually making Anthony lower than myself in order to outshine him. That is not true. Anthony, I don't know if you have a gain setting. If you can,
I can up it.
Yeah,
no
just slap
problem.
a bit of game on there.
What about now?
That's sounding great. Thank you so
Perfect.
much.
Okay, so I'm glad. That's very kind of you, Andy, to make it clear to Anthony if we could increase the gain. This, I think, confirms that there is no nefarious behavior on your part as the tech. Okay.
And the second thing I want to say is that's before. It doesn't have anything to do with the Assaf Off. Have you guys ever heard the song "In the Summertime" by Mungo Jerry?
Of course.
I feel like James's name could be Mungo Jerry.
Oh.
That's all I have to say.
I'm just putting a little note here. I'm really liking what Anthony's bringing to the show so far. And Andy, that's not to say you're not bringing it. You're teching. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, I have a lot of bells and whistles in this control room, James. And if I'm also doing my other job, which is keeping the attractions in the park, if you hadn't noticed, So I'm just running this because they also have good computers in here. They have good PCs to run the show off of. So,
Okay.
sorry if I'm a little distracted.
Let's get into it. Don't worry about it. Now, before we really break into what I've called the ultimate in who is to determine, or rather to determine the ultimate Assaf, I quite like, Anthony, what you've done, the Assaf Off. I like that better, so I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
The Assaf Off.
I mean, it sounds better than the ass off.
Yeah, the ass off. Yeah, we don't want to. Yeah, we'll save the potty humor for another segment.
Yeah.
We're all adults.
Yeah,
we've both heard enough of those jokes, James.
100%.
Well, and this is what I'm getting at. What I want to do is, before we really get into it, I want to ask you guys a couple questions. What did it feel like for the both of you upon meeting each other and then discovering that you shared a last name? What was that feeling for you? Anthony, let's begin with you.
It was, I mean, it was interesting. I remember the first time I actually met Andy was at when we used to have Super Sunday. I actually did
Which was an improv show, yeah.
At the former Montreal Improv. I don't know if they are still doing Super Sunday. I think they are.
The former Montreal Improv, not to be confused with Montreal Improv.
Yes, exactly. Two different entities completely.
Yes.
And I actually did my first ever long form set with Andy. It was at a Super Sunday that I think Lar was hosting that night. And it was nice. Andy's a nice guy. I really like him.
Okay.
Anthony, I appreciate that. I appreciate you buttering me up before we're about to go into the gladiator pit that is this Assaf Off. I concur with that story. I didn't remember the specifics, though. I forgot that it was a Super Sunday. But I do vaguely remember, I don't know if this is a memory I can trust, but seeing your name on a list for Super Sunday maybe and thinking it was my name and getting confused why my name was there and being like, oh, I'm not Anthony, my name's Andy. And then realizing
I felt
you're
the
another
exact
person.
same way. Yes, one time when you also had your name on a Super Sunday thing, I saw Andy and I was like, my name is not Andy, and then realized after looking at the members list on the Facebook group for Montreal Improv students and teacher that you were a completely different person from me.
Yeah, that blew me away. I knew that there was another Assaf out there that wasn't related to me, James. Important.
Now,
detail.
and this is what I'm getting at now. I am sure that you've both been asked. Again, I had mentioned that you ran in similar pacts. Has anyone asked either of you, hey, are you related to Anthony? Hey, are you related to Andy?
If I could have a nickel for every time someone has asked me this question, I would probably have at least $50.
I'd have 1 Bitcoin by now.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we get that all the time. I kind of just gave up on it, Anthony. I don't know about you, and just say it's my cousin. Because I think it's funny to just call someone who isn't your cousin but does have the same last name as you. Yeah, my cousin.
Yeah, I usually go with the story that both of our dads met each other one time in the 80s.
And it's true. That is true. I did have a confirmation from Mahmoud.
Yeah, and I've had a confirmation from Joseph.
Yeah.
Okay, I quite like that, so I'm going to write that down as a note for both of you. Okay. That's an interesting fact. Well, now that we've gotten the pleasantries out of the way, are you ready for the Assaf Off?
I am ready.
I was born ready.
All right. So we have broken it down into 6 categories. The first category, economic and professional life. Anthony, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about your economic and professional life?
Do you want me to give you my salary?
Yeah. Is this
what income bracket I'm part of?
Are we just reciting like our lives in these different categories, and you're judging which one's better?
We're going to determine who's better off professionally and economically. So Anthony, let's begin with you.
This is the answer here. I'm cueing this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Professionally, well, I have a full-time job. I work full-time. I've been working full-time for the past 3 years now.
And what's your job?
I work at Bell Media as a digital ad coordinator.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that you have health benefits.
I do have health benefits, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
All right. Full-time job?
Full-time job, health benefits. I also get discounts at certain places.
Now, I want to ask you something here. I'm going to assume that Bell takes care of your phone bill on some level.
I actually do get 30% off of my cell phone bill.
Okay.
And every time that any Bell promotion happens, they call me to ask me if I, like they do. They usually call people and they say, "Hey, have you heard of this promotional, this new promotion, blah blah?" And every time I tell them, I actually am an employee at Bell, and they just say, "Oh, okay, thanks," and then hang up.
Hashtag
Okay,
Bell,
so
let's
my 30%
talk, huh?
is always
there's
better
also there's perks, as in the Bell people just they end up leaving you alone when they call you.
Yes.
Okay. Say nothing more. Andy, let's go to you. Let's hear about your professional life.
Well, James, I haven't held a job for more than a year that had a steady salary. That salary has never been above most starting salaries for jobs. I've mostly been a freelance videographer for the last couple years. Only till recently, I've transitioned mostly into performance. Of course, I now work at the famous Second City, but they don't consider me an employee. I am an independent contractor. So I could be fired at any time. My job prospects are probably slim because I never finished college. And I've always lived pretty much month to month and haven't been able to plan my life. TELUS calls me, but only to remind me that my bill is overdue because they usually charge me overages for going over my data. So, yeah.
Well, I just want to move right along to the next category because that depressed me.
Yep.
Our next category, romantic life. Anthony, tell us a little bit about your romantic situation.
Well, I recently got married.
Fuck.
Less than a year ago.
God damn it.
Even during a pandemic, we managed to at least get a little ceremony with family.
You're telling me that you got married during a pandemic? That sounds like true love.
Yes, on June 20th. I've been married since.
Okay, and how long?
Before that, I have been with my current wife now for almost 10 years. We met when we were 18 years old in 2011, and are now nearing 28 this year. 10 years later, still together and now married.
Well, congratulations, not only for the ceremony, but for the upcoming anniversary. Andy, let's go to you, romantic life.
James, I am not married, currently single, can't date right now. Of course, there's a raging pandemic in our world. My last relationship ended sadly because my partner left to move across the country. And I probably haven't held a relationship more than 2 years, which I guess is one more than jobs, so I guess that's an improvement. Yeah.
And that's all?
Yep, that's it.
All right.
I think you should give Andy credit for not dating during the pandemic, because it is an act of social service right now to not follow that urge to date.
That's a great point.
That,
now,
Anthony.
Andy, have you done any dating during the pandemic?
I appreciate Anthony to try and find the bright side of that. I've tried to date, and I've gone on a couple dates when cases were lower. So I haven't been completely.
So you were lying.
Yeah, I was. Fuck yeah. I'm a big.
You also just cursed. You just cursed. So I'm putting $2 in the swear jar. You're now up to $5. You owe the show $5. You still have quite a ways to go to match Dimitri's $12.
Okay.
Let's move on to our next category. Category number 3. In your opinion, your greatest strength. Anthony, let's begin with you.
Oh boy. My greatest strength, I think, would be that I am a good listener and I have a good memory, I'd say. I think I have never forgotten one improv show I've ever been in.
Okay.
I could no joke tell you almost exactly which scenes I was in and what happened in those scenes.
Okay. I feel confident with that answer. Andy, let's go to you. What you believe to be your greatest strengths.
Okay, James. Well, I definitely don't have a good memory. In fact, my past girlfriends have told me such. One of the reasons why they're past ex-girlfriends. But I guess what would be my greatest strength? I guess I am not afraid, James, to be sensitive, to be vulnerable, especially publicly. And I think some people find it funny when I do open myself up for examination so that others can judge my worth.
All right, let's move on to
Can I
our
ask
next
you a question,
category.
James?
Please.
How are you going to tell which one is the better from an answer like that? From
I think he'll figure it
either of
out,
these
Anthony. I
answers?
think he'll figure it out.
Well, I can tell you this. After Andy's last answer, it's absolutely pushing me in one direction. Let's go to our next category.
Good
Again,
band.
staying on the topic of honesty. Anthony, what would you categorize as your greatest weakness?
Oh, I'm the opposite of Andy, where Andy is if he can be like very emotional and open, I am someone who is very closed off and stoic. I would characterize myself as as maybe the most extreme of the mild-mannered man. Which
I
is,
like that.
Which is weird, considering that I am on a show called At Home with James. What is it? Weird and
I believe
Wild and Weird?
Yeah, Wild and Weird Wednesday.
Yes, I am the most mild-mannered man in the world, and I'm doing a show called Wild and Weird Wednesday.
Okay, so as a greatest weakness, that's quite good though.
Is it?
Well, you could have said, I don't know, you touch people on the bus.
Oh, no. I definitely. I mean, I haven't been in a bus in almost a year now.
Okay, so not only do you not touch people on the bus, your greatest weakness is that you're mild-mannered. Andy, let's go to you. Greatest weakness, and if I've taken your answer, say I apologize.
Well, I haven't been on a bus either, James. That's for.
It must be quite difficult for you.
I guess my greatest weakness, James, musical transitions.
I concur. Anthony, let's go back to you. Our next category, special skills or hidden talents.
Now I regret not actually asking what the categories were before.
And I offered.
You did offer, and I was like, let's make it a surprise.
Yep.
What was the question again? Special skills.
Special skills or hidden talents.
God. Well, I did play the violin for 3 years when I was younger. I do not play it at all now. I actually would say that I'm not musically gifted at all, except for maybe like playing the drums. I can play the drums pretty well. I'm good at video games, I guess. That's
okay.
I mean, it's a hobby more than a skill, really.
Ooh.
Oh,
okay.
I read fast. I read very fast.
Okay, so this is a wide variety of skills or hidden talents.
Yeah,
Very
this is
good.
a buffet of skills.
It is a buffet, and I don't know which one attracts me most, but I'm hungry. Andy, let's go to you.
Well, okay. Can I name 7? No. Let's see. Special skills. In high school, I used to be able to solve a Rubik's Cube, but I forget how to do that now.
That would be a former skill.
Yeah, X skill. I guess video games. Sure, yeah. I'm a rank 1,300 as a damage roll in Overwatch.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that reference is lost on me, so unfortunately I don't.
We're on Twitch, James. I think some people get it here.
Okay, well, at this moment, Andy, I'd be remiss if I didn't. Would you like to promote your channel?
No, it's fine. Sound off in the chat, folks, if you get this reference. But yeah, sure. Frank Mythic is where we play video games, Dimitri and I.
All right, great. So we're going to move on to our 6th and final category, final remarks. You will each have upwards of 2 minutes to not only declare to me, but to our audience, why you should walk away as the greatest and ultimate Assaf.
Is this a presidential debate?
No.
2 minutes is a lot.
But you don't.
Please.
Again, I want to be honest and clear. You have upwards of 2 minutes. You don't need to use the full 2 minutes. Anthony,
I will use my full 2 minutes. I'm just gonna start a timer so that I know exactly.
if you want, I can start the timer for you. I'm prepared.
And also, this musical
I'm
loop is only 1 minute long, so.
Okay, so when the musical loop, so when I say go, start the musical
okay.
loop, and then when it's going to
When you say go. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, when I say go, and then when it's the second, like, basically when the first one ends, just start it right away. So
Anthony, I'm worried that you're cutting into your time.
Yeah.
Oh, my time has started?
And go.
Okay. Why should I be crowned the better Assaf? I am completely lost for words right now. I have no idea why I mean, Andy and I are two different people. It shouldn't even be a competition, and I think that's part of why I should be the better one, because I am willing to basically call it a draw, even though I'm not the one who is making the rules. And that is my 2 minutes, I'll say.
All right. Thank you for that. Coming in from the chat, courtesy of Sid Rock, quote, he's choking.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Andy,
this is the most nervous I've ever been.
Well, you know what? It's over. You're here. You still made it. Andy, let's go to you. Why should you be crowned the number one Assaf?
Well, James, I may not be good at musical transitions. I may not have a beautiful, loving wife. I may not have a job with benefits, or, family that loves me, or friends of any sort. I may not be allowed on a public bus from now until the next 30 years. But I'll tell you one thing. You give me 2 minutes to make a closing remark. I will not choke. I will not tell you to make it a draw, because I want to win this thing and because it's all I have. And I'll yield the rest of my time.
Okay. So while we take a moment before we declare a champion, I would like to encourage the chat. I would like for you to let me know who you think should walk away as the greatest, ultimate, number one Assaf in this Assaf Off. Are you for Anthony or are you for Andy? Now, while we let the chat speak their piece, Andy, I want to quickly go to you. How do you think you did in this competition thus far?
I feel a lot better now that it's over. We turned over some rocks that I didn't know we were going to be turning over. We went over some topics I didn't know I was going to be, reviewing tonight. But I learned a little bit about myself. I learned a little bit about Anthony. I didn't even know you got married this year. I thought it was postponed, but congratulations, Anthony.
Thank you. It was. I mean, we still don't know when, like, if we ever are going to have an official ceremony with everybody there. But we went ahead and did it.
Yeah, man. Well, I think it's very admirable to do it in the middle of a pandemic, and congrats. So whatever the result is tonight, I just want to say, Anthony, you're one of my good friends, and I like being your friend a lot, buddy.
All right, so those were poetic words. Quote, you're one of my good friends, and I like being your friend a lot. Sounds like something you'd hear some drunk guy say. Who
says I'm not, James?
Okay, well, fair enough. Well, I'm going to have to write that down. Anthony, let's go over to you. How do you think you did in this competition? One in which I don't believe you were prepared for.
No, I definitely wasn't. I just want to tell the audience to not vote using our initials. We have the same initials. It's an easy joke to make. Don't make that joke. How do I think I did? I think I did okay. I did choke during my, as Sydney would say, during my last, the last category, the last.
Well,
question.
I just want to jump in. He's a tough nut to crack, and I assure you that nobody gets a harder time on this show from Sydney than me, and I appreciate it. He keeps me in line. He keeps me in check.
Yeah, and sometimes you need the audience to be like that. You need the audience to tell you, you're not impressing us with your bullshit right now. And I think that Sydney is the kind of person who would tell you that.
Well, I like that you've used this moment to recap how you have done, as have I, by talking about how much we like Sid. Let's go to the chat right now. Coming from Sid, when I had asked, who do you think won? He wrote, quote, I'm recusing myself. We've also got, honestly, the audience should win. Here's...
I just want to say, James, I love it. Debates when someone goes, I got to recuse myself, and then yells choke in the middle of the
technically, the choke was pre-recusing. Here's another vote for the audience. So right now it's 2 for the audience, neither for you. Another one coming in. Oh, yeah, maybe the married Assaf wins. So
Wow.
I can't even count that because it's a maybe.
And he has a name. Thank you.
And then coming in right here, I think Mr. Assaf should win. So again, this one doesn't count. And then also, or James. Now, I am not an Assaf, so I am not eligible to win. Okay. I've listened to both of your answers. One of you came in with a lot of confidence, a lot of calmness, and a lot of great answers that was spoken over just impeccable audio. The other provided answers that were demoralizing, depressing, and I'm not even quite sure another way to put it other than those two words. Disenfranchising, most likely.
Yeah, I just really need this, man.
Yeah. I understand that you need this, but it wouldn't be fair.
Yep.
The winner in this Assaf Off, the ultimate and greatest Assaf, it is, quote, the married one. Anthony, you've won this competition.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, James. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, the audience. I am completely at loss for words right now. I tried to pull up the image of Mark Rowland crying in that Disney movie that I used at one time, but I could not find it anymore.
Yeah.
So
we feel the tears.
We feel the tears. Yeah. And don't let my stoicism divert you from the fact that I'm very excited and happy about winning this prize right now.
Well,
and
you said it. You're a mild-mannered guy.
I am. And since Andy is who changed his name to Andy Assaf now, is also one of my good friends and one of my buddies that I really like. And he also helped me out when I was looking for a wedding photographer and videographer. He hooked me up. I am going to share my prize with Andy.
Well, this is great because sadly there was no prize in this. Well, maybe there was a prize because Andy is now you've changed your username.
It's not just my username, James. I will be filing the official papers tomorrow with the Canadian government to make the name change as I honor the bargain that we struck at the beginning of this episode that I would drop the AF if I wasn't the true Assaf in the Assaf Off. So
well, I want to make it clear to the audience and to you, Andy. So I want you to make sure you don't make any rash decisions. For the next 2 weeks, your name on this show is Andy Ass.
Oof.
You know what? That's a little bit more tolerable than thinking about changing my real name to that. I don't know what I'd tell my dad. So I appreciate that mercy, that mercy you have for me, James. Thank you.
It's no problem. And what I do want to do before we say goodnight to the both of you, how would you feel at some point in the future about a rematch?
Oh, James.
Sounds like you had that trick up your sleeve, buddy.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I didn't. I absolutely didn't. I like the way that this unfolded. I had a great time. I think at least Anthony had a great time. The audience had a great time. And I'd like to think that I could get a sponsor for this competition.
Ooh, who would sponsor us?
Yeah, who do you think could sponsor the Assaf Off?
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be eyeballing a vape store.
E-juice.
There's a lot in our, the Lebanese community that would probably support this.
I was thinking about the Vape King because I was imagining putting together an audio file.
Lebanese. That's the question.
You should probably get a shisha place or a shisha provider
cafe?
to
Sherazade?
Cafe. Yeah, Sherazade.
I'm already saying their name. I'm giving it away.
The one on Sherbrooke, what's it called? Gitana. Right.
You know what?
I think it's still open.
Guys, we just put together.
It's still open right now.
Yeah, it's still open right now.
Segment on this show. We've done it. We've collaborated. So through the flames of Andy becoming Andy Ass for the next 2 weeks comes a great idea. And who knows, maybe next time he will get the AF back in his name, or who knows what further punishments or losses will yield. Guys, how do you feel?
Pretty good. It felt a lot like I was bragging when you were asking me those questions, and I can say 100% that I was not bragging. I am not the braggy type.
Well, for me, it felt more.
You just won extra points.
Oh,
with
come
that.
on.
with that humility and humble nature.
You know, for me, it felt more like rationalizing, to be honest, but I did have a very good time, Anthony, comparing valor.
Well,
I think it's two warriors men on the battlefield tonight.
Yeah.
I want to thank both of you, true warriors indeed. I appreciate it. We'll do this again sometime soon. Anthony, you get to enter the rest of your evening as a winner. Andy, you go back to the tech booth with a new last name, of course, being Ass.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, and we'll talk to you both very soon.
Bye, James.
Thank you. Bye, James.
There you have it, folks. A true happening, a one of its kind. Hopefully, paving the way for future iterations. Could you imagine if we got a third Assaf in this show and made it a triangular competition between all three of these, as mentioned, warriors? It would be absolutely unreal. Now, if you're just tuning in, I addressed off the top of the show that there's a bit of a fiasco, so to speak, in that I incorrectly counted and promoted Monday's episode. Next week is the 200th episode. Of course, after recounting, it is in fact on Wednesday. It will be a full week of celebrations. The celebration begins on Monday. You know who's going to be here? Taylor McMillan is going to be here with a brand new audience participation game that you watching get to enjoy not only on Monday for the rest of the time that we are together as one right here on twitch.tv/@home-with-James. And $20 is on the line. If Dale Bernier does not appear and perform under his new name of Chet Rankin, his folk rock song, My Tall Lady, he must give me $20. And I'm about to up the stakes. I will ban him from the show for 6 months. He has to be here to perform. We made the deal on January 1st, earlier this month. He performs on Monday as Chet Rankin. But that's Monday. Right now, it's still Wednesday. We're going to check in with just one of the nicest people you could ever have the pleasure of meeting. Let's welcome, he's on the couch, I'm on my chair, you're at home. Here he comes in, and he's coming in hot, Conor Rose. Conor, how's it going, buddy? Oh, no. Conor. Conor, you want to wake up, buddy?
Oh, James. Sorry, have you been there for a long time?
Well, yeah, the show's about 45 minutes old.
Oh.
But our segment just started.
Hey, James.
Hey, buddy. Are you feeling okay?
No.
Well, yeah, it looks like you're scratching profusely there.
Yeah, sorry, I just have to get my bearings here.
Yeah, were you having a little snooze?
Yeah, I can't stay awake these days, it seems.
Yeah, did you have any interesting dreams?
Yeah. Actually,
Now, wait, did you just blow your nose and put the snotty tissue back in the box?
James, I'm not allowed to leave the house, and this is the last few tissues I have.
How many fresh ones do you have in there?
4.
Oh, and how many dirty ones?
16.
Oh, well, I'm impressed by how fast you counted. You have any interesting dreams, Conor?
James, I'm not sure I'm allowed to tell the type of dreams that I have.
Now, what do you mean, the type of dreams that you have? So it's more than one?
Well, I've been sleeping a lot these days, so I have a lot of dreams about the women I've, been with in my life.
All right. Were you just having one that I woke you up from?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. How was it?
It was really great. I was dreaming about Cordelia.
Your new main squeeze.
Yeah, except for I can't see her right now.
Yeah, that's really tough. That's really tough. Now,
So,
would you like to explain why you can't see her right now, Connor? Because I think it would probably be better if it came from you than me.
I can't see her, James, because I just got my results back today.
Mm-hmm.
I have a confirmed case of COVID-19.
I'm really sorry to hear that. That's it's not fun. It's really not fun.
James, it's awful.
Mm-hmm.
And that means I got like a letter from the government and everything.
You got a letter from the government? What did the letter say?
You want me to read it to you?
Yeah, I'm very oh God. Okay. Can't believe they sent you a letter.
What?
Why they didn't call you or anything?
No, I got it in the mail.
Okay. Okay, well, let's hear this letter that you got from the government.
Maybe I'll sit up for this. Dear Mr. Rose, we regret to inform you that you have tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. You must remain in isolation for at least 14 days, at which point you can visit one of the facilities listed below for a follow-up test. Only upon receiving a negative test may you return to your normal activities. Please contact those who you've been in contact with within the previous 2 weeks and urge them to get tested as well. It has also come to our attention that you have also been infected with the chickenpox virus. Please refrain from scratching, picking, or biting off any of the scabbed blisters. Have someone you know bring you calamine lotion. Lastly, your request for the telephone number and/or email address of Nurse Becky, who administered your test, has been denied. Take care and best regards, Justin Trudeau and Francois Legault.
Well, I'm shocked that the premier and the prime minister got in touch with you.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot in this letter. So you have, unfortunately, you have COVID. I'm very sorry, Connor.
Thanks, James. It means a lot to me to have your support.
Yeah, well, of course I support you, but I'm mostly curious. You're 32 years old, right? You never had chicken pox as a kid? Don't scratch.
Oh, I have to get my mittens on to keep me from scratching.
Oh, you wear mittens to keep you from scratching?
Yeah, don't you, James?
No, I had chicken pox, I don't know, probably 27 years ago.
Well, yeah, I never gotten it my whole life. I was homeschooled. I don't know if you know that.
This makes sense.
My sister went to Carmen went to boarding school, and I was homeschooled.
Mm-hmm.
So I never was around very many children. So
how did you get chicken pox now?
Well, I have a theory.
Okay.
So I texted Cordelia right away when I got my positive result.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, listen, like I have some bad news. Got COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should get tested. And she was like, COVID doesn't exist.
Oh, so this person that you're crushing on, as the kids say, is what we like to call a denier.
Yeah. Yeah, she like was like, and I was like, just get tested. And she's like, I'm not gonna get tested for something that doesn't exist. I feel fine.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, what are your symptoms? So I told her, and she was like, it sounds like you have chickenpox. And I was like, yo, I also have chickenpox.
Right.
And she was like, well, that makes sense. Like, my little brother does homework in the back room at the laundromat. And like, I don't know if you remember from last week, James.
Well, yeah, if you want to recap for people that weren't here, what happened in the back room at the laundromat?
Well, me and Cordelia hooked up.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you want to say? You seem like you'd like to brag a little bit.
Oh, no, whatever. Like, I saw her boobs and touched her butt.
Yeah. Anything else?
James, do I have to tell them?
Well, no, I just thought maybe you wanted to talk about the moment in which you got nervous and achieved an erection.
I hate when you say that word, James.
Well, what would you call it?
Stiffy.
Right. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so we've solved the problem about the COVID and the chicken pox. Now, when you went to go get your COVID test, you were hitting on a nurse.
Nurse Becky, so beautiful, James.
Becky, her first name or last name?
Her first name.
Okay. Well, do you want to tell me what happened?
Well, there must be like some sort of like law about nurses dating their patients, because like I don't understand why they wrote that in the letter. She was really into me.
Okay, so I'm sure that there's got to be some type of code of conduct where nurses or medical staff are probably not encouraged to engage in anything romantic with people or patients, but you said she's into you. What do you mean? What happened?
Well, she just like the way she was touching my arms, and like
How is she touching it?
she was just like, "Here, have a seat here," and like she like stroked my shoulders.
What do you mean? Like just continuously?
No, just once. Like she just like sat me down.
Okay, what else?
Well, she was like it was like one of those tests that go up the nose.
A COVID test.
Yeah. So she was like, just like lean your head back. She was like talking really gentle, and like she kept like using, like she kept calling me Mr. Rose.
What's your name?
I could just tell, James, there was a vibe, okay?
I'm not trying to burst your bubble. I just don't want you to, the government's sending you letters about it.
Yeah.
Don't scratch.
Oh, but it's so itchy, James.
I totally understand. I had a hard time with it too when I was 6.
What did you do?
I used calamine lotion, so like what was suggested to you.
Yeah. Hey, James.
Yep.
Are you ever in this neighborhood?
In the Mile End?
Yeah.
Not really, no. Why?
I don't know. If you ever wanted to pass by and drop off some calamine lotion, that'd be really nice.
You know what? I'll do what I can to make that happen.
Thanks.
It's very, very relieving.
I have no idea. I mean, I've just been like, James, there's one and
Are you scratching your crotch right now on the show?
there's one right between, like, you know, when the part of your leg that meets your crotch area.
Yeah, I think you mean the crotch area.
Yeah, there's one right there. It's like huge. It's like like one big giant blister, and I feel like it's just like about to pop. I just like
I don't want any more details about that ever again. It's really graphic, Connor.
I'm sorry, James. I'm not in my right mind tonight.
I know. It's okay. You're going through a hard time. You're sick. You just found a new main squeeze. You can't see her. That's really tough.
I can't see her, and like she won't even get tested, James. Like, what if I gave it to her and she's like all around going around the city giving it to people?
Yeah, that's not a great thought, but it sounds like that she maybe gave it to you.
She would never do such a thing, James.
Well, you said she was going to the underground parties where people are dancing and socializing maskless. How else would you have caught it?
Oh yeah, now I'm remembering how you explained it to me last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible, James.
Yeah.
I just really wish I could convince her to go. Like,
well, how about this? I've been known to give you advice, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you suggest going on maybe a FaceTime date with her, like a Zoom date? You can still see each other over the information superhighway that is the internet.
That's a good idea. She like doesn't. She's like, why don't you come to the mat? Like, where are you? Like, she's like sending me texts like, where are you?
Yeah.
Why can't we see each other? And I'm like, I don't want to get you sick.
Yeah.
But I'll suggest, yeah, maybe I can suggest seeing her on Zoom.
Yeah.
Hey, James.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered if maybe we could do that thing where you pretend to be a person and I talk to them.
You mean role playing?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, do you want to pretend that I'm Cordelia? Okay, now what's this situation you're looking to achieve?
Well, like convincing her to go get tested.
Now, I noticed, Connor, that you're really making it a point to keep that blanket above your waist. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you not wearing pants under there, or are you wearing pants under there?
James, I don't think you understand. Like, the pox are all from my groin all the way down to my toes.
So, but you have a shirt and a robe on, but no pants or underwear.
I needed to let them breathe. They're like all stinging right now, and it feels a little bit better.
Do you alternate? Are you going to put pants on and then take your shirt off?
Well, James, when I'm not on the show, I actually just like go full nude.
Oh, you like to be naked.
Yeah.
Has that ever gotten you in any trouble?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's save that for another episode. Okay, so you'd like to do some role playing. You'd like for me to be Cordelia. Now, what's the situation you're hoping to achieve and learn from?
Well, I have two things, James.
Okay.
One is that I'd like her to get tested for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, I need to tell her that I'm a virgin.
Right. Okay, so you'd like to role play both of those situations.
If it's not any trouble for you, James.
Okay, well, look, I'm just gonna have to wing this because I don't know a lot about Cordelia. I know that she works at a laundromat. She goes to underground, unsafe parties, and you really turn her on.
She's just imagine like someone so beautiful and like really easy to talk to and like
okay,
just like super cool, you know?
All right, I think I can handle this. So yeah, take it away, Connor. I'll do my best to be the best Cordelia for you right now.
Hey, Cordy.
Connor, how come you're not coming by the laundromat? I miss you.
Cordy, babe.
Don't courty me. Don't courty me. I haven't seen you in almost a week.
I know, but babe, I'm really, really sick.
Yeah, you keep saying that. You keep saying you have COVID, but you and I both know it's not true. Now get over here so I can take you to the back room.
Oh, that would make me so happy. There's nothing more than I would like nothing more than to go into the back room with you again.
Every time I pass by the chair, I think about you.
Oh, James.
What, Connor? What's wrong? No, don't tell me.
James.
Yep.
It happened again.
What happened?
James, I'm pitching a tent down here.
Yeah. You're pitching a tent with your pantless blanket on top of you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's quickly just move on to the next role play where you tell her that you've yet to feel the embrace of another.
Okay, just give me a second.
All right. Well, while we give Connor a second, before we really celebrate the 200th episode, we're going to be back for episode 198 on Friday. Dimitri Kirez is going to be here and so much more, 9 p.m. right here on Twitch. Connor, you ready? I can't imagine scratching or hitting yourself is good for your pox.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Sure. So, Connor, I notice every time things get a little bit hot or heavy, you get nervous. You pushed me off of you the other day and then you stood in the snow. What was that all about?
Yeah, about that. Like, here's the thing. I don't really have a lot of experience in those kinds of activities. And you seem like someone who has like a lot of experience, right?
What are you trying to say, Connor? You trying to say that I'm loose?
No, no, you're so perfect. Don't even ever think that.
What are you trying to say?
All I'm trying to say is that I get really nervous around you. Because I like you so much.
Okay.
And
that's all you have to say? There's nothing more?
I guess I'm afraid to open up, Cordelia. Like,
well, this isn't going to go very far unless you open up.
Okay, here goes nothing. Cordelia, I am a virgin.
Really?
Scouts honor.
You were in Scouts?
Yeah.
That's very sexy.
Oh, you think so?
Connor, can I be honest?
Yeah.
I'd love to make you a man.
Oh, James.
Yeah, don't say my name.
James, you did it again.
You asked for this. Now, look, I don't know, Cordelia. I don't know if that's the way that she's going to respond. I'm a little upset that I responded like that. That's the tent you were talking about?
James, trying to get it down right now.
Trying to get it down.
No, I thought you did a really good job. I mean,
thanks. Yeah, I'm really glad.
I think, that would be a really wonderful way to respond to that.
Yeah.
Actually, I hope that that's the way it goes.
You're hoping that's the way, just like that?
Well, minus the stiffy incidents.
Yeah. Well, you might want that to happen.
Yeah, it's a bit of a, like, I really need to start thinking of it like that.
Well, I want to tell you something coming in from the chat, and I think this applies to what we just did in relation to how you want to engage with Cordelia. Coming in from the chat, courtesy of High Score Run, quote, you can deny COVID, but you can't deny Connor. Right?
It's true.
Well, Connor, look, that's we're coming up on our time. Anything else you want to say before we call it a night, and I can let you get back to your sleeping and your dreams?
No,
I think I know why you're blasting through those tissues so fast.
You what?
Nothing.
No, I guess like all I wanted to say is like, if you like are in the neighborhood and want to come by, please do.
Well, I don't want to come by. I don't want to catch COVID.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. See how easy you forget, Connor? You got to stay on top of that.
Oh, James, it's going to be a long 14 days, that's for sure.
Just stay isolated. It's going to be long. It's going to be arduous. It might be a little boring, but you've got friends and family who care about you.
Thanks, James. That means a whole lot.
And hey, maybe... No, after you.
I'm going to take your advice, and I'm going to try to talk to Cordelia about both things that we talked about.
There's no rush. Take it slow.
Thanks, buddy.
Connor, stay confident.
You too, James. And remember, there's no At Home with James without James.
That is true. Thanks so much for that, Connor. That gave me the boost that I needed. Sleep tight, buddy.
Bye.
Bye, Connor. Have a good night. I hope he's okay one day. Folks, that's our show. That was Conor Rose. We also had Anthony Assaf and the newly named Andy Assaf. Folks, I want to thank you so much for being here. This was a night unlike any other because I think I may have just accidentally engaged in some type of cyber sex with Conor Rose. And I don't know really what to think or what to do coming out of that. But what I do know is that we'll be back we're Wednesday. We'll be back this Friday for more fun, more comedy, and more conversation. Until then, I am James. You are you. We were here. Good night, goodbye, farewell, and of course, be well.